Looks like
Hey, everybody.
live. Hey, everybody.
We
Happy
are
Tuesday.
back.
We missed a week. Did we miss a week? Oh, my goodness. We did, didn't we?
We didn't miss it. We just skipped it.
We just skipped it. That is true.
Did I say that?
Yes, we did skip it.
Okay.
Anybody want to know what we did last week?
Okay, that's the small talk. You You want to hear about something that's like could be a lot of fun, crazy loud, and hyper and gaming, and
you guys got to know what we did last week. Wow. You got to know.
And you're wet all the time too.
Yeah, good evening.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hey, Rhonda says good evening. Hey, Rhonda. We're just getting ready to tell everybody what we did last week and why we weren't here. Any guesses, anyone? Nobody will guess this one. So
yeah, it's okay. It's loud everywhere.
It's loud. That's true.
You can be wet a lot. There are games everywhere.
Oh gosh, it was insane. We're not getting any guesses. You must not be given enough clues.
I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, this is what we did last week in a moment of questionable. This is actually what I told our office manager. I was like, okay, Lisa, we're going to be out of town this week. In a moment of questionable sanity, we committed to take the grandkids. Okay, mostly me. And he came along. We committed to take the grandkids to Great Wolf Lodge. And overnight, no parents, just the grandparents with the tinies. Woo! It was an adventure, guys. We loved it. Maybe would have rather been doing this. It's kind of hard to say.
Crazy.
It was crazy. It was loud.
Not any quiet spots there.
No, man, it was loud, but they had a great time. We got to spend time with them. So, interested to hear what you guys are up to, what you did last week. Anybody on any exciting vacations? Anything like that going on for you guys? That was not exactly an exciting vacation, but we did enjoy.
Anybody buying a really cool house?
Yeah, if you are, tell us about it. What do you have under contract right now? What are you buying? I don't know. What was your day like today? Tell them about your day.
Trying to get some buyers under contract today. We're probably gonna submit an offer either later today or in the morning. They're young couple. We're looking in the cool area of Dallas.
Yes, that's true. It's been kind of,
and it's actually Dallas proper. Yeah, and it is cool.
And you know what's funny, guys? I got to tell you this is I've been working on preparing our property tax protest. So while I've been looking at these junky houses, trying to get our taxes down, he's been sitting next to me looking at $1 million houses, and I'm like, man, there is something wrong with this picture. I'm looking at all these gross houses. Humphrey's going to Nashville in a couple of weeks. Awesome. Nice. What are you going to do there? Nashville sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds good. Nashville, that's what summer is for. Summer is for the traveling. So, and I'll tell you this, guys, if you've ever heard the expression that, real estate, you're going to get hit with it the minute you try to go on vacation because realtors don't get vacation. That's exactly what happened to us. The minute we went to Great Wolf Lodge with 4 grandkids, ages 6 and under, we got inundated with leads with a bunch of you guys, buyers just like you.
We worked on another offer too. So
So that was insane. So
that was about the same time. So
and we came back just really, I wouldn't necessarily say refreshed, but totally worth it. Anyway, welcome to this week's edition of.
I did get to hit a few golf balls.
That is true. That is true. But you didn't come to hear all about that. So welcome to this week's edition of What the Heck's Going On in the Housing Market.
Happening on the golf course.
Well, I suppose that's true. Yeah. Anyway, we are Dale and Wendy Pinnell, local realtors, and I'm a broker. Dale's a realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We like to talk about what's going on in Dallas. Today, we're actually going to talk also about really what's going to affect. It's more of a national scope. We want to tell you guys what you can expect to see different now that Trump has passed the new bill. So I kind of want to walk through that because I know one change in particular, pretty exciting. I was reading about it just before our meeting. And so I actually got our tax return to compare. And I was like, would we benefit from this? And sure enough, we would have. It would definitely. So it's going to make a difference for us next year.
Nice.
Yeah. So let me jump into that article. Let me go ahead and show you guys this article. Okay. All right, here we go. How Trump's one big, beautiful bill will affect the U.S. housing market.
I love the name of it.
I know. All right. as how President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act is likely to help higher end buyers in the U.S. housing market while doing little for lower income renters. I guess I can kind of see what they're saying there because it's about home ownership and potential first time buyers. The bill is also likely to affect the struggling U.S. housing market. Good thing. It's definitely struggling, which is in the midst of a slowdown as inventory surges while buyers are kept to the sidelines by elevated mortgage rates, sky-high prices, rising costs, and growing economic uncertainty. All right, got to take a quick minute to say hello. Hey, Purple Drink, thanks for dropping on. It's good to see you. There's a lot of truth to this part right here, guys, about the slowdown, inventory surges. Just today, Dallas Morning News released 2 different articles about just kind of the housing market slowing down. I just finished a video I recorded today about, and I'm calling it, housing crash. And it was really interesting how micro-local you have to get in order to really find the true data. And so you have some suburbs right now that are literally crashed down 18% in DFW right now. And you have others that are actually up 18%. Yeah,
because just when I think things are slowing down, I'm like doing some stuff with some buyers and there's not much, didn't seem like much going on with some of the houses we're looking at. Then suddenly, a bunch of people start looking at these houses and stuff and there's multiple offers and stuff. So it's kind of a weird, you just never know.
It really is.
Up and down.
Yeah. Like if you want to take advantage of a housing correction of prices being down, you got to go micro local because, if you just go with Metroplex as a whole, just looks stable. It looks boring. It's like 0.3%. And that's not nearly enough to really tell you what's going on. But I can tell you, there are big opportunities right now. Like I said, some suburbs down. The one that's down 18% is actually down 21% peak to trough. So from the very high in 2022 to now. So long list. I went through them, and of course, me, I love the data. So I was just like, oh, this is so interesting. Wow, so I'm looking through all this list. But yeah. So really, what it's saying here, very true. We've got a struggling housing market, needs some help. So I definitely agree with that part. There are several parts of the bill that could affect real estate and housing markets, but its impact won't be uniform. Okay. Its overall impact is likely to vary significantly across regions and income groups, depending on local tax burdens, home prices, and how tight supply is. So even though this is like a national thing, it's going to affect each area differently. It's going to affect the housing market differently. That's because the bill includes provisions that affect both housing demand and housing supply. So it affects both sides, and they operate differently in different parts of the country. Makes sense, right? Especially given today's large regional divides in local economic conditions. All right, here we go. The tax package passed by Congress includes a provision, and this is important. This is what I was talking about earlier, raising the cap on the state and local tax deduction to $40,000, effectively quadrupling the previous $10,000 limit. For homeowners in certain states and metros, this could mean saving thousands of dollars in annual taxes. Okay, so this is a pretty big deal. Ed Fernandez from crowdfunding told Newsweek the measure would be incredibly productive and create a real estate boom again. No, I don't know if it's going to do that much, but this change, however, disproportionately benefits higher income buyers in high tax states like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Illinois, regions where housing markets remain tight and prices elevated. Now, I don't necessarily think that those are the only states because here we are in Texas and we have very high property taxes. If you own anywhere from if you own a high, just before the video, I was looking up the tax estimator. If you own anywhere from like a $500,000 to $600,000 house on up, this is going to benefit you. Yeah. Okay. It's going to benefit your property tax deduction that honestly, all this time some of our buyers are paying like $20,000 a year in property taxes. They could only deduct 10,000 of it. Yeah. Right. And so now you're going to be able to deduct up to 40. Now I get what the article was saying because some states also have state income tax and
Yeah.
property tax, right? We don't
And
have that.
and like the coast, usually that's how this works. I mean, you kind of notice what they were talking about there too. Some of those places, yeah, the prices are way up. I mean, they're super high. You know, you're looking at even for much smaller homes than what we have here, and they're a lot higher. So it's a big difference.
Yeah, and it's real crazy to me how some parts of the United States housing market are still very hot and heavy.
Well, that's because they're not building as much there. We're still probably one of the top areas for building. So.
Yeah. In fact, in my crash video that I'm making, it was the excerpts with the new construction that are just crashing hard. And then like Dallas proper was like way up. Irving was way up. So all of our landlocked cities where you don't have new construction to add into the inventory.
That's interesting too, because as I'm working with this other couple trying to get this one deal done today, looking at the areas, and I just kind of looked over the last 3 to 5 years. And, you know, you look at 22, 23, you know, those are high times. But in general, those areas, just because they're already fairly high-end homes and prices, it's pretty stable just from there on out. So, yeah.
You know, Dallas County in general was one of the counties that has just seen stable appreciation. Yeah. And this year it's up as well. Whereas several of our counties are correcting, Dallas County's not. All right, let's see. Let's kind of check in here for a minute. Hello, Wendy Isaac here. Hope you guys had an amazing time with the grandkids. We did. We had a lot of fun. Thank you. Love your analysis. I'm so glad to hear it. Yes, we did. We had a lot of fun. It was very hectic though. I mean, like you're talking about a giant water park and all 4 of them like divide and go in multiple locations. And you're like, wait, you just lost that one. Go catch up. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Let's see here now. Since Texas has no state income taxes, how can we benefit? Well, property taxes. Property taxes are very high here, very, very high. And so that factors into that. So up until now, you know, if your property taxes were over 10,000, you couldn't deduct that in plenty of homes. That's well over that. But in this article where it's talking about how it's going to affect, you know, disproportionately going to affect high income, that's why, because it takes more of an expensive house to have more to deduct. As in Texas, we don't have income tax as well as property. That's and I'm saying it's as well. Let's see here, Humphrey. Did you hear the Princeton building moratorium was extended? I did not hear that, but that's a good thing because Princeton is one of our exurbs that values are down. I want to say 10.2%. I mean, they are in a heavy correction right now.
It's become a very high lease area too. So
yes, it really is. You have in Princeton, I've noticed this a lot, is you have a lot of unintentional landlords who are just not happy with how the rest of the community has turned rentals. And so they're like, I got to get out.
Yeah. But they keep the home for.
But then and a lot of times they keep the home because they can't sell it.
Yeah.
You know, because we've got a 10% correction going on. All right. Hello.
You say hello again.
Hello. It's so good to hear from you. Okay, let's get back to our article here. We're kind of taking all these little side jumps, okay, one more side jump. By the way, guys, we'd love to answer your questions about the housing market, about new construction. So while we're reading this article, please post your questions in the chat. Any questions you have, any area, we work them all. So, or a new construction, pre-owned, we do all of that as well. We've been doing it since 2007. And so just over that period of time, you build up this expansive knowledge really of every area. Okay. Back to our article, okay, and you can see here this change disproportionately benefits higher income buyers. It does because you've got a $10,000 cap, and so if you've got higher taxes, you're going to benefit more from it. So it does make sense. All right, an additional $30,000 in deductions could amount to about $10,500 in annual tax savings for homeowners.
That's decent.
Yeah, assuming a 35% federal marginal tax rate. That realtor.com calculated that. Okay, so guys, I went ahead and did this so that you could see exactly what we're talking about. If you look at this highlighted part, you'll see it says right there, this is the 2024. It says enter the smaller of line 5D or 10,000 or 5,000 if married, filing separately. That's the part right there. That's going to change, right? It's going to be, and it's going to have some income limitations, but now that's up to 40,000. Okay. And of course, this, this whole section here, this is just a sum of the total area. You've got all of these different lines, but this right here is what it's talking about. So this is now, instead of 10, it's going to be 40. Okay. Bet you never thought we'd be talking about tax documents on our live stream. All right, let's see. Let's see here now. One of the most attractive provisions for real estate investors, okay, if we've got any investors watching, is the return of 100% bonus depreciation.
Wow. Nice.
Back in the day, we would have benefited from that.
Yeah.
We used to buy a lot of investment properties back in the day. This would allow you to fully deduct the cost of qualifying renovations, property improvements, and certain building components immediately instead of spreading the deductions out over several years. That's a huge one for rehabbers for sure. Okay, the bill is also likely to affect the U.S. housing market on the supply side by expanding the low-income housing tax credit and making tweaks to opportunity zone incentives. So this is the part where they were talking about how it's also going to affect the supply side as well. These are tools that support affordable housing, community redevelopment, and increasing housing supply where it's so desperately needed.
And here in Texas, they're working on some bills. So in the Dallas area, we always had we still have right now, we have a minimum lot size in a lot of neighborhoods and areas that you can build on. So, and I think it works well because there's still a lot of space there. But they're talking about removing, there's not going to be any minimum lot size. And so you can just, when you develop, you can, build as many as you can, stuff into a place, which will just, in my mind, will just reduce values in those areas when they do that. But
yeah, it looks like we might be, hopefully our reception's okay, guys. It looks a little slow from where we're looking. But yeah, Dale's talking about legislation here in Texas that passed that's going to affect, and goodness, we just don't need it. I don't know. I guess they're thinking like super cheap housing, but right now, inventory is there's just so much of it. So much of it. LA Jim, yes, that is exactly right. So SALT is a federal tax deduction. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's why it's so impacted regionally by places that either have low or high taxes, with Texas not having state income tax, but we do have high property taxes. So, all right, let's see here now. And guys, by the way, please feel free to post any questions in the chat. Okay, I think I read this one.
Yep.
All right. So here's another article that kind of does more of a bullet point list. President Trump signs big, beautiful bill. Here's what it means for mortgage and housing. Okay. Permanent mortgage insurance deduction. Okay. Borrowers can now permanently deduct mortgage insurance premiums. Okay. So all of those that you see there, PMI, FHA, MIP, VA, funding fees, and USD guarantee fees subject to income limits. Okay. So that's permanent now. All right. Why this matters. This reduces the effective cost of low down payment loans. Mortgage professionals can position this as a long-term savings opportunity for FHA, VA, and conventional borrowers who put down less than 20%. And right now, I will say this, guys, if any of you are thinking, well, whoever has 20%, it's just because you're not in the season of life where you have it now. It's move up buyers. They didn't start out probably not a whole lot of first time buyers. Some do start out with 20% down, but not many, I would say. And so if that seems like you're like, well, whoever has 20% down, it just means that you're not in that season of life yet. You will get there with, wise home ownership. Okay. This looks like it's kind of messed up a little bit. I hope it's not, guys. Sorry if it is. All right, let's see. Permanent $750,000 cap on mortgage interest deduction. So let's see, the bill makes permanent the mortgage interest deduction cap at $750,000 of acquisition debt.
Wow.
Why it matters. There's no expansion, but also no shrinkage. In high cost markets, borrowers can plan around this known limit when purchasing or refinancing. I know a fair share of our buyers are at that point that they're, so it's good that they've kept, I guess that it's at 750. Okay, this is the helping the supply side, expansion of the low income housing tax credit. Okay, the law permanently increases 9% allocations by 12.5% and reduces the bond financing requirement for 4% from 50 to 25%. Okay, why it matters. More LIHTC supply means more affordable rental housing, which supports housing stability and may ease entry-level homebuyer competition. It also presents opportunities for originators working in multifamily or with community lenders. And which, by the way, guys, to the extent that we've got a lot of correction going on in the housing market, rentals are softening some as well.
Yeah. They have been for, I think, about the past year, really. Yeah. Hasn't really gone down a ton, but they just haven't been going up as much like they were. So
yeah. Like you check out your typical all in our neighborhood, you're going to see a lot of rentals and you're going to see a saturated market. And then you're going to see unhappy homeowners who want out because they don't like the all rental community. So any of these like really low end. So there's just a lot of even rental pressure as well. Homes that are sitting on the market and they can't get them. So Dallas, definitely seeing some correction, but not uniformly. But the rental market is affected as well. So let's see here now. All right. SALT deduction cap temporarily raised. Okay, and this is what we were talking about. The legislation raises the state and local tax SALT deduction cap from $10,000 to $40,000 per household, with a phase down starting for incomes over $500,000. So it's not necessarily for the super wealthy. It's really more for higher end middle class. All right. Why it matters. Homeowners in high tax states. I don't know why they don't mention Texas on here. I guess because we're not high in state income. Yeah. Like New York, New Jersey, and California,
high tax states.
May get larger deductions, making home ownership more attractive for upper middle income. That's why they say upper middle income, because of that phase down. Okay. Well, that finishes up our article on the changes that we're going to see from the big, beautiful bill. There's a whole section that I didn't include on investors. In addition to getting able to maximize that depreciation. Anyway, what do you think? Thoughts? What do you think is going to bring, the biggest change? What do you think?
Well, it's kind of more of a long-term change, and maybe it'll make people feel a little bit more comfortable with buying and stuff. Because there's a lot of expenses with buying. It's not only is it property taxes and income taxes and your federal income taxes and all that, but there's maintenance and all that, things that come up. So maybe it helps long term.
Yeah.
In general. It's.
How about that saying that some people are going to save like $10,000 on their taxes? That's crazy on their federal taxes, just because they've got this increase, just the SALT deduction alone doing that.
I'm sure there's a ton of homes in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that people are paying $10,000 plus.
Yeah. Well, I know when I was looking at I looked at our taxes from last year, and we didn't even exceed the standard deduction because all of our property taxes were capped. And so I was like, that would have made a complete difference if we didn't have this $10,000 cap on the property tax payment. So let's see here now. Purple Drank. Let's see what he has to say. Is it possible to negotiate a new build with the use of a market analysis? I know you can on inventory homes. Yes, it is. It is possible with the right new build.
Yeah. It gives you an idea. So the idea is to look at what their trends are more really than, if you're looking, if it helps to, I rarely for a new build, if like you're doing a building from ground up, I rarely work on negotiating the price itself, the base price, because that's not where what you got to work on is reducing the costs that are associated with building, getting more towards your design, getting some closing costs, assistance and things like that. That helps with the final payment, the final sales price. So, but yeah.
I will say though, that I guess the exception to what you're saying is when you go into a community that's just a field and the builder just wants to validate it. They just want someone to start building there. then you can get them to come down on lot premium. You can get them to come down on base price. They'll do those things because they're just seeking validation. The more, if you think about it, the more houses that are under construction, the more someone else is willing to buy there. But if someone looks at it and it's just a big, ugly brown field, nobody, they're going to be like, I don't want to be the first one there. I don't want to be the only house. So it's kind of like a faith investment. So it is possible, but you're right. The cool thing about a new build is so many more variables. There's so many more sums to add in. So if they don't want to negotiate in one, you can negotiate here. You can negotiate there. There's so many. Whereas with inventory, you're a lot more limited, right? You've got your price, you've got upgrades, things like appliances, help with closing costs. But with new builds, there's so much more.
Plus, here you're looking at the idea that you're probably going to, when it's complete, you're probably going to have quite a bit of equity already, depending on that neighborhood. But I mean, because values are going to go up between the time that you started and the time that you actually close. So
yeah, guys and my friends, that is called equitable title, is what he's talking about right there. You get to buy with a new build. You get to buy at today's price at tomorrow's value. That doesn't mean you want to overspend on today's price. You still want to be really careful based on what the market is supporting right then. I was talking, in fact, to buyers just about this like a couple days ago. And I was saying almost start at the design center and work your way backwards, because otherwise you end up getting carried away and you go over budget and you spend more than the house is worth.
When you talk to builders, you want to try to find out as many of the costs as you can, try to figure out as many things as you can about design and all that stuff. Get them to give you as much information about that so you can plan it up front. Highland is excellent at that. Highland is so good about that. Toll Brothers is actually pretty decent about that too. I've worked with Toll Brothers a few times, and they do really good about that too. Just a lot of figuring out your design cost up front, so you can, like you said, you start it at that point and work yourself backwards. So what the costs are.
You don't want to decide on the base price and the lot premium before you've decided on the other things. Okay, because instead work your way backwards to the extent possible. There's a lot of variables, definitely.
You can go crazy, and we have a few clients that even while it's being built, they're like, well, we really like to do this too, and so they're adding more costs. So
right, and so what I always suggest is that we look at a market analysis on customized homes, right? Making sure that it's an accurate market analysis, and if you don't exceed that value, you're in good shape, because again, you're getting tomorrow's value. So if you go off of today's value and you get today's price based on today's value, then 6-8 months from now you're getting tomorrow's value. By then you should have positive equity. Excessive equity is what I mean, above and beyond. But again, it's so tempting. So treat it like a purple drink. Treat it like a formula of multiple sums. Worry about the design and the upgrades, the customization, and use that as you negotiate, right? Because if you're like, listen, Mr. Sales Consultant, this house isn't worth it without these higher upgraded countertops. You've got a choice here. You can either give me more in the design center, or you can come down on the base price. You can do one or the other here, but I'm not buying if I can't get these countertops, So that puts the onus on them if they want to make the deal work, and you're like, put it one way or another. And then they're probably going to give you more free money in the design center, or with the structural, or with the elevation. Well, I am so glad. I like the suggestions. I'm so glad. I hope that was helpful. All right. Premium mortgage insurance deduction caught my eye. Does MIP, PMI go away? No, it doesn't show that any of that.
Only in conventional.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you mean as a result of the big, beautiful bill or not.
Yeah, it doesn't go away.
That doesn't address it at all.
They're just saying that you can deduct that now.
Yeah, that it's permanently deductible.
Like you used to be able to deduct all your interest on mortgages and car loans and all that kind of stuff. And well, I know, with conventional, you just have to be able to prove that you have 20% equity, and then, and we've done that before. We've just said, you can, if sometimes they'll make you order an appraisal or something like that, but you can get it off with the conventional. All right, Tina, we just signed with Highland. Oh, congratulations. Almost made the mistake with TriPoint. Highly shady upper management. And then Highland gave the bank away. That is awesome, because between those two, Highland's a better builder. Where did you go? I'd like to hear
I'd love to hear the story where you bought at. We've got numerous under contract with Highland right now. And like Dale said, it's consistent. Consistent is hard to get with new construction. I'm telling you, it's really hard to get because each of these they're managed by different project managers. And so consistency is a lot of times your biggest battle. So that's cool with Highland that we've seen that. I don't know, like Meritage comes to mind. We've had great experiences with some Meritage communities and horrible experiences at others. So they are an incredibly inconsistent builder, but Highland does tend to be consistent. All right, thanks, Tina A. about TriPoint. That's a good tip. Good tip. Definitely, you've got better builders out there for sure. So, yeah, interesting. So, yeah, tell us more, Tina, about signing with Highland. We actually just got one signed with Highland on Sunday. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, we just got one under contract on Sunday with Highland. So, trying to think where that one was. Anyway, I know we've done all over. We have just Royce City, North Lake, right, Pecan Square. I think this one was in Lavon, the one that we just did. So, yeah, you guys, any other questions? We've already just been 30 minutes. We usually chat quite a bit more. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. Also, if you just want to know anything about the housing market, because I can tell you, I just did a whole video on it. We've definitely got areas that are in crash territory. We've got areas that are correcting. We've got areas that are stagnant and boring. And we have areas where the markets are really going up. Yeah. All within one metroplex. So that's crazy. Wildflower. Okay, great. Okay, nice. Great. Wanted tree line. Oh, that's so true, but didn't like their 45-foot lots and loved TriPoint's model.
I'd say, I think tree line is going to be a nice community. I worry a little bit about the traffic going to it, where it's located because of Timberview and its growth on that same road, and then also the preserves right there as well. But it's a nice looking community there. It's I like Wildflower. It's going to be more going on there. So yeah, it's not a Hillwood, but that is it's a good. I got some more information about the developer. It's a good looking developer there. They're pretty strong. They're not maybe not quite as big as Hillwood, but they do a lot like what Hillwood does globally, internationally and locally and stuff. So yeah, they're good.
Well, and you know what? I have been hearing a lot about Wildflower and Treeline. We've had numerous buyers and buyer leads asking about this recently. So I think that Treeline and Wildflower, I think that whole area is becoming pretty popular. I think there's renewed demand for it. And, Fort Worth, Tarrant County, not really correcting as much, although that's probably Denton County. All right, let's see. Thoughts on Drees custom homes in Painted Tree?
They are pricey up there, but they are very nice. They make some very nice homes.
Mm-hmm. I like Drees homes in general. I don't like their warranty. So you want to be careful about that purple drink. Look up their warranty because it's one of the worst in the industry. So why won't they stand behind their product, right? Give me a good warranty. There's just no reason for that. I did a review on Drees homes. I just feel like they've got a lot of unique floor plans. And I've been in some that I was just like, I've walked through a few and been just like, wow, this is the coolest floor plan I've ever seen because it's so different. So I like Drees from that standpoint.
I don't see. I was
Dale's
just looking to see if they had anything. They don't. Okay, they have a few. Let's see.
All right. While he's looking that up, let me look at the next one here.
They have a few inventories right now, in the upper sixes to just under. Well, they can go over $1 million. So yeah. That's their bigger ones, over 4,000 square foot. So, yeah.
So they've got a variety to look at, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. They do both the rear entry ones and garage over there and Painted Tree and the front entry ones too. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. You know what's interesting about garages is I get hard no on both, or hard yes on both. Like I get people who are like, I absolutely will not consider a rear entry garage under any circumstances. And we have a client right now who's like, I want a rear entry garage and nothing else. Mm-hmm. I don't want to look at trash cans going down the street. I want them in the alley. And so it's people do tend to feel pretty passionately about where those garages are. All right. Is the Rockwell area correcting for new construction? Also, how do you think the Lafayette crossing will affect the values in Fate?
I think they're going to go up.
Yeah, you can look that up. Rockwall is fairly stable. It's down. They were Rockwall County was one that I included in my search, and I think it was down by like 1%, something like that. And then Fate is in a correction, if I recall correctly, somewhere between 3 and 5%.
So Rockwall, let's see, median sales right now is
is 0. Median sales price is 0, so it's pretty stable.
Oh, 0% change.
Yeah, 0% change. Yeah. Median sales price 0% change. So it's basically stagnant and stable.
This is normal. They came down from earlier in the year. This is it's that time of the year, but yeah, in general, there's still quite a bit of inventory out there, though. There's still a lot of building going on out in Rockwall.
Yeah, that is true.
A lot of new communities. Fate, I think, is going to benefit. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Do you want to keep it small town, or do you want it to have some? But Fate is really close to Rockwall, the shopping area and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When they put Lafayette Crossing in there, I think it's going to make a world of difference to Fate. So it's good because it's going to basically connect it, make it all part of Rockwall. So
that is nice connecting that, because traditionally you've got Rockwall, it's slightly higher than Fate. Less, and then Royce City even further less.
I just hope they get the construction done on 30 before they do that. So.
Yeah. Look up Fate real quick, because I remember I was just looking at them and I can't remember where they are with median sales price. He's looking this up on his computer.
Fate is at
negative.
They're negative 1.5, and they're at 400,000.
Yeah, so they're correcting in a very minor way. You could almost call it stagnating. Basically, it's like down 1.5%.
They're actually on an upward trend. So
yeah.
I know.
Interestingly enough, as I was doing my research on this video, there's a lot of suburbs that did not honor seasonality this year, and that's very unusual, because seasonality is like so predictable here. We always have our highest prices in June, and it hasn't been. It hasn't been this year. So I was really surprised as I was looking. I was like, wow, are you kidding? So it was all very interesting. I just love the data.
So you know that about March this year, the highest prices there were March. So.
Oh yeah, I will say that was the other thing I saw in regard to seasonality, is that we saw earlier peaks, whereas usually it peaks in June. We were seeing more peaks in like March to April, and then going down. I don't need 4,000 square foot. I am good with 3,200 or 3,400 square foot.
If you can afford it, they do have some very nice. Dries has very nice homes. I would, and they can. So in that area right now, their inventory homes 3,000, and the 3,000 they're in the upper 8s. So.
All right, let's see.
They're in the upper 8s. Yeah.
Hey, Isaac. It's good to see you tonight. Yeah, your thoughts. I'm thinking you meant to say thoughts. Your thoughts on Lakewood Village. What do you think about Lakewood Village?
Is that you talking about
no PID, no mud, no HOA. Builders are Perry and American Legend. 20 minutes from Frisco. So Dale is looking that up to see some numbers on it. Lakewood Village. You know what? If you tell me no PID, no mud, no HOA, are you sure about no HOA?
That's Little Elm. Okay.
No HOA with new construction? Whew, if that's the case, then I need to get the word out on that, because that's crazy. Okay. I'm hoping construction on I-30 is done soon too. Yes. The community I have on my eyes on is Avondale.
Oh, it's a nice community.
That is a nice community. Yep.
And while you're Avondale, you might look out. Well, okay. Yeah, you're not quite that far up. But you could go up towards Levon and look at Hillstead. Mm-hmm. Hillstead is very nice, because that's probably a little bit further out though, I guess. Yeah. Anyway.
And these builders here, these are good builders. Perry and American Legend. Isaac, I think those are good choices in builders to consider. And then Jamar, mainly because no PID. Yes. I mean, I think we just have gotten because Salina is everybody's baby and it has so many PIDs. Not all the suburbs are PID heavy like that. It's just a real disadvantage to Salina.
Yeah.
I know Salina is everybody's baby and it's so, popular and everything, but gosh, with the PIDs, like, I don't know why they have to do that, but okay. Tina, that's helpful. Isaac, I live in Oak Point currently, and the area is super busy with traffic. I wouldn't spend the money for that spot. Thank you so much. Wow, this is so great to have. I just think that personal experiences are so great. That is so great that you did that you commented.
Lakewood Village right now has Perry Homes has a ton of inventory homes there. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
They're anywhere from 600,000 to over $1 million. And it's that's 2,500 plus square foot. So
and you said that's Little Elm?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure let me look at one of them. When I looked at the other one.
Oh, it's actually Lakewood Village.
Well, but it's
like
right there by the
your suburb that barely exists, basically.
Yeah, it's like
gotcha. Okay.
And it's really pretty over there. There are some parts of Little Elm over that way. They're really pretty, really nice, and it doesn't. I'll make sure that's where I'm thinking it is.
Oh, I love it. Purple Dragon.
Yeah, it's the little inlet part right there.
Oh, I catch it. Is that
right off of El Dorado? Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Purple Drink says, my wife loves the Perry homes at Wilson Creek and the American Legend homes at 10 Mile Creek, but the pits. You see, I'm telling you, yes, it's crazy. Why does Salina have to go so heavy with the pits? Yeah, I just don't know why they have all the suburbs.
That was their choice of how they were going to pay for the infrastructure.
I know that's going to hurt property values.
A lot more infrastructure. So.
Yeah, they do. Tina, David Weekley is in Highland Village too.
Yeah.
So that would be, and that's going to be a lower end compared to Perry and American Legend.
David Weekley can do some nice stuff. It depends on. This doesn't. Their website, the Lakewood Village website, does not tell who their builders are, but yeah. But I know, I've seen them over there too. So,
All right, Jamar. Jamar says Hillstead is definitely on the list. Yes, Hillstead is very nice. Love Highland, but up there the lot sizes are super small. Hopefully in phase 2 they'll have bigger lots and better floor plans.
Perry was offering some really good deals up in Hillstead. So
Perry, they do ridiculous things. Like they about a month ago they offered a $50,000 bonus to realtors to bring in a buyer. Okay. That tells me you've got a motivated builder on your hand. Okay. like if they're that much that they're going to say,
but their location, depending on how that goes, is going to be amazing because they're right at 548 and that 78 or whatever it comes out of Wiley right there. And it's not that far from Rockwall now that they've expanded 548 straight up. It's in Wiley ISD.
I was just about to ask you that. I was just about to say, isn't Hillstead the one that's in Wiley ISD? Because that's a huge difference because Lavon is a lesser expensive suburb. But if you can score Wiley ISD, which is like among the top in the state, for their ratings. Hillstead. Yeah. Hopefully bigger lots. All right. Let's see here now. Tina, David Weekley is in Lakewood Village too. Yes, that's very true. I saw that. Well, any other questions before we scoot and go have some dinner? Anybody else have any questions about new construction, the housing market, you name it? We are here and happy to answer any of your questions. So it's an adventure. We've been doing this since 2007 and just still enjoy every minute of it. We've got several agents that help us in our brokerage. And all right. All right, you guys. Let's see. One more. Thanks for the great info. Have a great evening. Thank you, Rhonda. I love how you join us every week. I hope you have a great week as well. So we're going to go ahead and scoot then. You guys have a terrific week. We will see you next week. Same time. Yeah.
Same bad channel.
Same bad channel. Is that what you said? With all of the reception. Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Come on.
I was like, what did you just say? Anyway, okay. Can't take him anywhere. All right, you guys. Well, you have a good evening and we will see you next week. All right.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
It's a bad